Hello, and thank you for checking out this presentation on creating a LinkedIn profile. My name is Mark Holcomb. I'm the Assistant Director for Professional Development in the Center for Career and Leadership Development. And we want to go through some slides today just to talk to you about what should be included in a LinkedIn profile, what to avoid, and some helpful tips for finding information to best present yourself to potential employers. So LinkedIn is a few things. It is also not several things. LinkedIn is a professional business tool. It's career related, and you're intended to use it as a job search resource and for networking. It is a great place to meet other professionals and to talk about the work you're doing and to be able to find out about potential job opportunities or different things of interest to you that may fit into a potential career path for you. It is not like other forms of social media. It's not Facebook, it's not Twitter, it's not Instagram, it's not any of the other casual social media sites that you would use. The content that you share and experience from others should be dramatically different on LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that the things you're posting are from professional journals, things about job experiences, from professional websites, and you want to avoid things that could be inflammatory or things that are too personal that would be more appropriate for one of your other social media channels. So through LinkedIn, your idea is to build professional relationships and provide or receive referrals. Like I said before, it's all about networking. So as you build those professional networks, those are opportunities for you to be connected with other people who have job opportunities, and also to connect your friends when you find out about opportunities that would be a good fit for them. It is very much a back and forth two-way street kind of relationship. So you want to be able to provide referrals, but also receive them as well. So you have some opportunities through your LinkedIn profile to share information about your career field, and also to discover new things going on. If you're linked to or following different groups or pages, you can really learn about some new things that are going on in the career field that best interest you. This is a supplement to calling and in more normal times, not during a pandemic, face-to-face contact. So this shouldn't be your only source of networking, but should be part of your overall communication plan, which will also include things like making phone calls, sending emails, doing Zoom interviews or Zoom meetings, to also do face-to-face informational interviews. Anytime you can get in front of other people, but LinkedIn is a great way to start those conversations so that you can eventually get to those face-to-face opportunities. All right, so I have a couple of screenshots for you and some information about how to fill out your profile, and then we're also going to go through a checklist so that you can see what could be included and to stay organized. So when you are first setting up a profile, you want to think about something. What name do you want to use? If you go by a nickname, that may be something to consider when setting up your name in the system. If your nickname is appropriate to use at work, let's say you go by your middle name or you go by an abbreviated version of your first or middle name, those are fine to use at work. But you probably also want to incorporate the full name that would appear on applications and things of that nature. So for example, I go by Mark, but my name is Marshall. So on LinkedIn, my name is Marshall Mark Holcomb, so that people who know me by Mark or Marshall can both find me on there. I use an email address that is a setup of a portion of my first and last name with a number, so that it is clearly mine, and it's also a professional email address, a professional looking email address. It is not something that would be considered inappropriate. Then you want to set up a strong password as well, but something that you'll remember so you can get back into your profile. All right, so this is an example of what it looks like as you were starting to set up your page. There are different boxes that it will walk you through to ask you what kind of information do you have that you want to include? So things maybe like skills or education. Do you have a summary section you want to put together? So you have your name, it has a job title that you currently have or something that would be of interest to you. You can add additional experiences in education, and they provide it, or make it pretty easy for you by having these things linked and in special boxes where you can just click on it to move through. So some things to keep in mind are, what would you like? What do you do that you would like for your connections to know about? So what are those things that you're doing at work, or what do you do in the classroom? What do you do as a volunteer that should be part of your, basically your professional brand? So if you think about the things that you would want people to know that you can do that would advance your career, then those are the things that you want to include on your LinkedIn profile. Um, what you want to do is really use this as a way to show off what makes you unique. So if you have any kind of things that stand out specific to you, like you have a special trait or skill or special ability that would be something that not many competitors would also have, you definitely want to include that in your LinkedIn profile. You always need to include your education. This is kind of an overview breakdown for you, but whatever advanced degree you would have, you would make sure to include that. You would definitely include your bachelor's degree. You can include associate's degrees, but really your highest ranked degrees are override that. But if it's something that you earn an associate's degree, it's in a different field from your bachelor's, but it shows kind of a diversity of education, you're welcome to include that as well. High school should not be included as a general rule. High school should, just like it would be on a resume, it should come off if you are, if you have once you have 2 years of experience of college, then your high school information comes off. There are a couple of exceptions to that. If you are seeking a position in that particular area and you want to show a community connection, so like let's say that you are earning a degree in Chattanooga, but your intent is to move back to Nashville or the Nashville area, and that's where you went to high school, then you could list your high school on there in an effort to show that you have a community connection back in that place. So there are some reasons that you would want to keep it, but for the most part, it should just be your associates or higher, or really your bachelor's or higher. So there are some things you would definitely want to include, such as special certifications. So if you have earned a special type of license, or maybe you're a lifeguard or you're CPR trained, or you have a special certification to work with a certain age group of people, any of those kinds of things, or if you're working in food service, even for example, and you've gone through trainings on how to make sure you're keeping things food safe. There's all kinds of different certifications that fit different career fields. And so if you possess those, then they're very important to include, but you want to keep it in mind, did you earn this and it's only good for a year or two? If so, making sure you're keeping it current. And if something has expired, then you want to take it off because you don't want to advertise something that you no longer have. But if you possess it and it's a lifelong thing and you get to keep it, leave it on there. Or if you're keeping it renewed, definitely be sure to include it. All right. So think about relevant activities. So these are anything that you do that's related to your career field area of interest. So if you are plugged into an organization in your community and you provide volunteer service to them, if you have gone back and you're working in a certificate program, but you haven't earned it yet and you want to talk about it, those are relevant activities. If you've participated in community forums about ongoing things, current events, and that may fit into things like social justice, or it may fit into community service. Those types of things can be included on your LinkedIn profile, but what it will do is it'll help you to stand out because it shows that you are active beyond just your 9-to-5 job, but it also shows that you're connected to the community that you live in. And for most employers, that's very important, that they are hiring a whole person, not just a person who can do this specific task. They want to know what else you're about. And so including those relevant activities is a great way to do that. So once you have a profile put together, it looks a little bit something like this. So you have a summary at the top that has just a little bit of a taste of information about who you are. It'll have your experiences listed. It'll have your education listed. It'll have certifications. And then there's a section called skills and endorsements. So skills are things that you put in on your own, skills that you possess, such as critical thinking or team building or uh, being able to manage your time effectively. Those are things that you can list on your own as skills you possess. Other people can endorse you for things too, even without you asking. So if you have been super involved in your community and a friend of yours or connection on LinkedIn wants to endorse you for community development because you have made such a difference for the people around you, then they will submit that and you have an opportunity to add that onto your profile as well. So there are some really great things that can be included. All right, I'm going to put this up so you see my contact information, and then we're also going to switch over to a checklist so that you can see some other things to include in your LinkedIn profile. But if you have additional questions, you can always reach out to me at Mark with a C, M-A-R-C dash Holcomb, Holcomb at utc.edu. You can call our office at 423-425-4184. We also have social media channels on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at UTC Career or Career and Leadership Development at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. So you can find us there. But if you would like a copy of the checklist that I'm about to show you, you can send me an email to this address, and I can make sure you receive a copy of that. Yeah, so let me go ahead and get the page switched over. One moment. Okay, so this is the checklist. So we'll just go through some of these things and it will show you what you want to include. So for this job search checklist, as you're working on your LinkedIn profile, you want to make sure that you have a really good quality photo. You have the opportunity as a UTC student to have headshots taken on campus through our photographer, through communications and marketing. There may be a fee associated with that, and there definitely is a time schedule. So if the calendar is booked up, you may have trouble getting an appointment, but that service is available to you through communications and marketing. You would just want to reach out to that department to see if they have availability. Also, if you have a quality camera, whether that's on your phone, but it is super high quality, or you have a more professional style camera, you are welcome to take your own picture or have it made for you. You just want to make sure that it looks really quality. There is a website or an app called Snapper, Snappr, which will rate your photo for you and let you know what needs to be included. So you are welcome to use that. I've used it. Some of the information is helpful, some is not. It seems like sometimes it goes a little overboard for me, but if that's something you find helpful, then you're welcome to check that out. So that's Snapper, Snappr, to see what kind of changes you would need to make to your professional headshot. So you want to set up a headline that would be kind of a one-liner that tells people about what they're about to see. By reading your LinkedIn profile, it shows up next to your name, so it's kind of that quick grab to entice people to want to read the rest of your profile. And then you have that summary, as we talked about before, just to kind of quickly describe what your background would be. You list all of your experiences, just like you would on a resume. You can kind of keep those bulleted details shorter. And if you are searching for a specific job, this is a good place for you to be able to kind of tailor those experiences to kind of demonstrate where you're going, what kind of jobs you're looking for through LinkedIn. As we were talking about before, you want to make sure that you include your education at all of the schools and colleges you've attended. Skills and expertise, as we mentioned before, if you have those specific skills, you definitely want to include those. This says at least 5. I hope you have at least 5. If not, be working on that. And if you want to talk about professional skill development, I can definitely help you with that. So you want to reach out to me and we can identify some ways for you to do that. Recommendations as endorsements, as I talked about, people who you are connected with on LinkedIn can make endorsements and even send recommendations for you. This also goes outside of LinkedIn. So maintaining those connections is going to be super important for you because this is it's essentially word of mouth. And so it's other people who have worked alongside you being able to speak to your ability to do these jobs or that you have these accomplishments. So definitely rely on those recommendations and endorsements. Location and industry. So if you add your industry and your zip code so recruiters can look for you, that's going to be a way for you to, as it says, show off kind of where you are and what kind of job you're looking to do. There are ways for you to customize your LinkedIn profile where an employer can know whether you're just using it as a networking tool or if you're actively job searching. And so just make sure those settings align with whatever your purpose is at the moment. But if you can let them know what field you're working in and your location, then they're more likely to find you and be able to let you know about job opportunities you may be interested for. So you can use your URL from your LinkedIn profile in other areas. So if you have a portfolio somewhere, or if you want to include it on a digital resume or a hard copy resume. The main thing though, is that if you are going to include a LinkedIn link on anything else, you want to make sure that you're keeping your LinkedIn profile current. It won't help you if you are linked to a LinkedIn profile and it's outdated. So you just want to make sure you're keeping it current so that it is of use to you. All right, so let's talk about some settings. There are some different things you can toggle on in the privacy settings. This is, you can kind of decide who's going to see what from your profile. One of the things that you can customize is what I was mentioning just a moment ago, whether or not employers can find you. So if you're just using this as a networking tool and you're interested in talking to other people who work in your field, then you may not want employers and recruiters reaching out to you. But if you're looking to make a job change, that's something you can toggle on so that employers can also find you. But you can see, you can decide things as simple as who can see your picture, who can see who your connections are, or how many connections you have. So just like you can with other social media platforms, you can decide how much information you're sharing with other people in your network and outside of your network. So you do want to set up an email address in the system so that you can get back into your system. Hopefully you have that redundancy on other social media platforms as well. It's just making sure that you can access your content. So include an email address in there. Email addresses are not typically part of what's visible through LinkedIn because they have you, they want other people to message you through the LinkedIn system. But in terms of the background and setting up your profile, you want to make sure you have an email address in there so that you can recover your information. So you do have an option to connect your contacts with your LinkedIn profile. That's really up to you, depends on how muddy you want to make the waters. If you're fine with having all of your devices integrated and synced and being able to pull your contacts from your phone by opening your LinkedIn account, that's super convenient, but it definitely does not leave room to keep things separate. So, so that is certainly up to you, however you want to do that. But one thing that having your contacts connected, or by actually just by connecting your school, is to be able to see who else went to one of your previous schools. Now, what's really neat is you can set that piece up, and then as you're going back and you're looking at like a kind of a dream company that you would want to work for, it will show you other connections at that company that have your same education or have been to similar places as you. So, for example, you may click on a company in Atlanta, and it will show you, 12 people from UTC work here. And then you have an option to kind of check on who those people are and see who your connections would be. and then build a connection with them as well. So you can identify that for you, and then other people can reach out to you. So again, a two-way street. That leads right into the next piece. So that allows you this chance to ask for introductions through your network to get connected to companies. So as you're seeing these other people and where they work and where they went to school and where how it can benefit you, it's perfectly fine to reach out. Just be prepared that people will reach out to you as well. All right. It's important, just like it's important to post on your other social media sites, to share updates. So you want to post a thing like if you have a work anniversary or you get a promotion or you were part of some really successful program that was offered. You want to talk about it. You want to post things that are really interesting. You want to, just like anything else, you want to show pictures or videos that are engaging. And you want to share those so that people know what you're up to. And then when it's time to make a career change and you are relying on that network, they can actually go back through your profile and see some of those accomplishments as they happened in real time. All right, so as you are searching for jobs, you can set up alerts and it will send you an email letting you know that jobs matching your job search criteria are available. Here's a brief list. Just like other job search systems, you can put in all of these different search criteria and it will provide you with a very thorough list of jobs available matching that criteria. You can save them and come back later. It will show you jobs before you have a chance to even go in and do a search because it will send them to you by email. So it's super helpful to use that job search tool. Now, employers will often set it up where you can apply for jobs right through LinkedIn. Sometimes that sounds easier than it actually is. Sometimes they will provide that button so that you can see a job posted in LinkedIn, you click the button thinking you're going to apply by basically submitting the information from your LinkedIn profile. Sometimes that's the case, that's what happens, but sometimes it really just reroutes you to their applicant tracking system and you still have to fill out their application. That's okay. Just if you want to apply for the job, do it. Just make sure that the information you submit is current and best reflects you as a candidate for that job. Stay organized, keep track of the job applications that you have submitted. That's the last thing you want to do is apply for a job and then have them call you back and you have no clue what they're talking about because you don't remember that that you applied for the job. So LinkedIn provides you a place to keep track of those jobs. So use it and know who you've applied for and just kind of keep your memory fresh as you're applying for jobs. It's perfectly fine to follow up and find out about jobs after you have applied for them. And so if the person is included and they have a place for you to be able to follow up with them, go for it. You don't want to do it too often, but you certainly can follow up a couple of weeks out from the job application just to see if there's any progress and to let them know you're still interested in the position. All right, so just like there are sponsored pages on other social media channels, you can look at company pages and then also LinkedIn groups that you can be a part of to just kind of stay up to date about what's going on, just like this says here, so you can learn about companies, products and services, latest news. You can kind of see what's going on and see if that's a company you want to be a part of. And as I was mentioning before, you can see how many connections you have through some degree that are connected with that organization. So that's just a really helpful tool for you. For LinkedIn groups, kind of the same thing. It allows you to kind of keep up to date on what's going on and really just deepen those connections and networks that you have. So you may be part of an alumni group or a specific geographic group, things that are going to be of use to you as you are expanding your career. Join those groups because that's a great way to really stay informed as to what's going on. All right, so Jobseeker Premium is going to have some features that are kind of out of range. What that would mean is that if you want to pay for some extra tools through LinkedIn, you can certainly do that. And so if you are really into a job search and you want to apply all of your resources to it, that's certainly fine to do that for a little while. The majority of LinkedIn is free for you to use, but if you want to access some of these premium features, you pay that premium fee and you can see things like the people who are looking at your profile. You can turn on this premium badge. Like there are different things that you can do by paying a little bit extra if you want to do that for a little while. I wouldn't suggest doing it all the time. There's no purpose in keeping it on all the time. But if it's something that would benefit you in the short term, then that's something you may want to consider investing in while you're actively job searching. Of course, there's always going to be a help center. There's different tips and things in there. So keep that in mind as well. So if you would like a copy of this, you can email me, as I said, and I can make sure you get a copy of it. And I'll remind you of my email address one more time behind this screen. I have already closed the PowerPoint, so I will not pull it back up. But the email address is Mark with a C, M-A-R-C, dash Holcomb, H-O-L-C-O-M-B at utc.edu. You can also check out some of our other resources at utc.edu/career, as well as find additional points of contact for us. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. We're happy to sit down with you and work on your profile with you. It's a good idea to get something started first, and then we can help you make it better rather than really doing it from scratch. So get some thoughts down and then let us help you kind of pick it up from there and move forward. I appreciate you taking the time to check out this brief presentation, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. You can find me on LinkedIn as well at Marshall Mark Holcomb through the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga alumni and as well as staff. So you can find me there. Thanks so much for being a part of what we did today.